Good morning, students. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the primary activities, which is our chapter number 5 for part A. Some of the primary activities we already discussed. First was hunting and gathering, and all these primary activities we discussed in the primitive societies as well as in the modern times. What are the changes? What are the characteristics of these activities in the primitive times as well as in the modern times, and the map related to these activities, right? First activity we have done that hunting and gathering. Process we discussed about the discussed in primitive times as well as in modern times. Second activity we discussed the pastoralism. Pastoralism means domesticating animals and obtaining animal product, right? Third is agriculture. Now today we will discuss the main primary activity, that is agriculture. Agriculture is very important activity of man because it provides food food to human beings, which is very essential for the survival of human beings, right? In the primitive society, you have seen that there was, in the hunting and gathering process, at that time man do not know how to grow, so they are totally depend upon the nature for their food habits. But as the man begin to interact with the natural environment, he began to understand the law of nature, he interact with its physical environment, and the consequence of that interaction is that now these days the man is doing cultivation, right? So agriculture is the most important activity of man. No doubt present day, in the present day world, secondary and tertiary sector is going very fast, but still we are depend upon the agriculture for our food habits. 65% people of different countries, of different developing countries, still depend upon the agriculture, and India is one of them, right? So there are different types of agriculture. We will discuss one by one each and every type of agriculture in this chapter. What are the characteristics of this particular type of agriculture, and the map related to the agriculture activity, right? So first is subsistence agriculture. There are 8 types of agriculture we will discuss in this chapter. First is subsistence agriculture. Second is plantation agriculture. Third is extensive commercial grain cultivation. Fourth, mixed farming. Fifth, dairy farming. Sixth, Mediterranean agriculture. Seventh, market gardening and horticulture. And last is the factory farming. Right. So we will have a focus on these agriculture in this chapter. So first of all, first type of agriculture, that is subsistence agriculture. Whenever you heard the word subsistence, it means it is for family members, right? So it is for the family or nearby the neighbors, not for the extensive commercial purposes, right? So subsistence agriculture areas consume all or nearly so the of the products locally grown, right? When we grow anything for the small purpose like family members or nearby persons, it means it is combined characteristics of all the agriculture. You have to remember, if we are growing or we are producing anything for on a small scale for our family members or nearby villages, it means it is done on the small scale, so it is less expensive, it is less intensive of capital, it required less labor. All these factors will be common in this type of agriculture. Okay, so these are some common factors, right? Less use of machinery, all that. So there are two types of subsistence agriculture. First is primitive, second is intensive. Come to the first, primitive. Primitive means ancient, है ना? So what are the characteristics of primitive subsistence agriculture? this was the time when the people learned or the man learned how to grow, right? So this was the initial time of agriculture when we learned to how to grow. This type of agriculture is also known as shifting agriculture, and it has different names in different countries, right? Milpa in USA or all that. So it is also known as shifting agriculture. It is the first attempt of man how to grow food. So this is only for the family and family members. At that time, it is sufficient for man if he can produce the amount of food grains or food for the family and family members. That is the only need of the man at that time. There was no techniques, there was no modern machineries, only primitive tools like hoe, sticks, hal, kudal, jisko aap kehte ho. These are the only primitive tools that are used to do the agriculture. Fourth, the land holding is very small because the land holding size was very small. Farm was in small size because only need to fulfill the need of their family, right? So production is for the family and family members. This is the characteristics of primitive subsistence agriculture. Here we use a term shifting agriculture. What do you mean by shifting agriculture? Shifting agriculture is still practiced in some of the forested areas or hilly areas, like in Africa, in northeastern state of India. It is still practiced. What do you mean by shifting agriculture? As its name suggests, shifting. Shift means agriculture is shifting. Agriculture is shifting means when the farmer shift from one patch of land to another patch of land, because now these days we use different types of manures, pesticides, all that to maintain the fertility of the soil. But at that time the man do not know how to maintain this soil fertility. What is soil fertility? So when he saw that this soil is not appropriate to produce the food, now they move to another land, right? So they do not do any effort to maintain the fertility of same patch of land. They move to another land. So that's why that is called shifting agriculture, right? Now what did they do? It is also called slash and burn agriculture. Slash and burn agriculture. Why? Because a small piece of forest land is clear and they cut the bushes and grasses on the land. Now what did they do? They burnt all the bushes and grasses. That's why we called it slash and burn, cutting and burning. Slash and burn agriculture. And the ash which is obtained by the burning, it is mixed in the soil to so that the fertility of the soil can be increased. When the land lost its fertility, the farmer moved to another piece of land. After 2 to 3 years, the second one also lost the fertility and they come to the previous one. So that's why it is a cycle of 2 to 3 years. Sometime the farmer came back after 10 to 15 years and grow crops on the same piece of land. So then it is known as push fallow agriculture. When the farmer come back after 10 to 15 years and grow crops on the same piece of land, then it is known as push fallow agriculture. Now what are the main food crops grown in this primitive subsistence agriculture? The main food crops were maize, cassava, banana, sweet potato. Okay. Now look at the map. What are the areas of shifting agriculture? As I told you, now these days the areas which are still in primitive society, which are still in primitive conditions, right? So these areas are also practicing the shifting agriculture, and these areas are mostly hilly areas, mountainous areas, and the forested areas. So this type of agriculture is still practiced in the central part of Africa, right? Northeastern part of India, including our states Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura, Nagaland, Mizoram, and in Southeast Asia, right? All the northeastern states of India, Southeast Asia, and Central and South America. These are the major parts where the shifting agriculture is still practiced. But the future of shifting agriculture is bleak. Because it is not, there is no expansion in the future of shifting agriculture. There are some reasons behind it. Because first of all, it leads to deforestation, because the farmers have to cut down the trees and bushes and to clear the land, right? So it leads to deforestation. So no doubt it will lead to the environmental degradation. Third, it leads to soil erosion and soil loss, because the farmers are growing crops on a same piece of land frequently, so they do not know how to maintain the fertility of the soil, to maintain the soil and to prevent the soil from the erosion. So it leads to the soil erosion and soil loss. This so in this time, this type of agriculture is not do not have any future. Second type, intensive subsistence agriculture. Intensive subsistence agriculture. Intensive means when we do a work very intensively, बहुत ही गहन जिसको हम कहते हैं, right? Deeply. So subsistence means same family and family members and the nearby, for the nearby villages, right? So when we did a agriculture for the for our subsistence, right? So this type of agriculture is mostly practiced in densely populated regions of monsoon Asia. Now what are the which are the regions of densely population? These are the India, China, and Southeast Asian countries. So this type of agriculture is mostly practiced in these areas. It has also two subtypes: intensive subsistence agriculture, dominant by paddy cultivation. Paddy cultivation means where the crops which needs more irrigation, more water, right? Second, intensive subsistence agriculture dominated by other than paddy, the crops which required less amount of water, right? So first is intensive subsistence agriculture dominated by paddy cultivation. Paddy cultivation like rice. Rice is the crop which required a large amount of water. So this type of agriculture is practiced where their rainfall amount is high. Other characteristics of this type of agriculture is mostly common. The land holding size is very small, because the aim of the production is to fulfill the needs of family members and the nearby villages or towns. So land is intensively used to meet the food necessity of high population, because land is less but the population is high. So the small land have to fulfill the food necessity of the large amount of population. So land is intensively used. Labor is not hired, they are supplied by the family and family members. Natural manure is used to maintain the soil fertility, and most of the agriculture work is done by manually, so there is less use of machineries, right? So yield per area is high but per labor productivity is low, because the land piece is small and the production is high on the same piece of land. So per yield area unit area is high, but per labor productivity is low, right? Second type, intensive subsistence agriculture dominated by other than paddy. In this type of crops are grown in the low rainfall areas where the rainfall is less than 75 centimeter. Those area practice this kind of agriculture, right? Major crops of this type are wheat, soybean, barley, maize, etc. And all the characteristics are similar to the intensive subsistence agriculture dominated by wet paddy cultivation. We already discussed the 7 points of 7 points. These characteristics also similar for the crops other than paddy. Major areas, no doubt, the high population areas are the major areas of these type agriculture. So northern China, North Korea, here in the map you can see, let me zoom. Yes, here you can see India, China, India including Pakistan, Bangladesh, countries of South Asia, and South Asia, sorry, South Asia and Japan. So these are the major areas which practice intensive subsistence agriculture, right? So intensive subsistence agriculture is the type of agriculture which is done for the family members and the nearby villages or towns, right? It is of two subtypes: intensive subsistence agriculture with paddy crops, and second is crops other than paddy. Paddy crops, the major crop is rice, where the rainfall is sufficient, more than 75 centimeter rainfall. Those areas practiced intensive subsistence agriculture dominated by paddy crops, right? And the areas with low rainfall, they practiced the intensive subsistence agriculture dominated by crops other than paddy, in which wheat, soybean, barley, maize are the major crops. The characteristics are the land holding size is small, labor is provided by the family and family members, less use of machinery, work is done manually, and labor productivity is low, per yield area unit area is high, right? So these are the some points. Land is intensively used, fertility of soil is maintained by the natural manure. Now second type of agriculture, that is plantation agriculture. Plantation agriculture is mostly done for the market purposes. Plantation agriculture is mostly done for the market purposes, right? So when we grow a crop for the market purposes, it requires a large land, it requires some machinery, it requires high capital investment, it requires hired labor, right? So transportation facilities also required, right? So remember these common points. The major crops in this plantation agriculture are tea, coffee, cocoa, rubber, cotton, oil, palm, sugarcane, bananas, pineapples, right? So these are the major crops of the plantation agriculture. Actually, plantation agriculture is introduced by Europeans and Americans. When they form their colonies in the different parts of the world, they introduce this type of agriculture. What are the characteristics? First of all, what are the characteristics? Land holding size is very large, thousand of hectares. One crop is grown on a large area, even thousand of hectares, right? So production is for market purposes, that's why investment is high, use of technique and machines is very high, unskilled and skilled labor is required, so labor is hired in this type of agriculture. To for the transportation of crops from the growing area to the market, transportation facilities is also required, and it is introduced by the European and North American countries, right? So major areas are some parts of Asia, Africa, South America, and Central America, which were the colonies of any European or American countries in their previous time. What is the contribution of European and Americans in the plantation agriculture? First of all, it can be asked in 3-mark question. The French set up cocoa and coffee plantation in West Africa. Means coffee and cocoa plantation was introduced by the French in Western Africa. Similarly, British established tea gardens in India and Sri Lanka. Rubber plantation in Malaysia and sugarcane in and banana plantation in West Indies. It is also introduced by the Britishers. Dutch established sugarcane plantation in Indonesia. Spanish and Americans set up cocoa and sugar plantation in Philippines, right? So basically, the development and advancement of the plantation agriculture is the contribution of European and American countries. Now the third one is extensive commercial grain cultivation. Now the word used commercial. When we use the commercial word, it means it is for the market purposes, right? When we extensive means outer area. Grain cultivation, mainly grains are used, mainly wheat is produced in this type of agriculture, right? So extensive means out of the area, commercial for the market purposes, grain means wheat, and wheat is cultivated, right? So it is practiced in the interior part of the semi-arid lands of mid latitudes. Major crop is wheat. And what are the characteristics of this type of agriculture is, for first, wheat is the principal crop of this agriculture, and other crops can be barley, oats, corn, and rye. Right, right. So it is practiced in low rainfall area where the rainfall is below 75 centimeter, because it is done for the commercial purposes. So land holding size is very large. Thousands, hundreds of hectares land is used for the wheat cultivation. When we use a large land, we will use the machines and the new technology also. And when we use the new machines, new technology, it requires high capital investment, because the large land area, population is small, so yield per acre is low, but yield per person is high. So main area of extensive commercial grain farmings are in the North America, this part, prairies of North America, in the Canada and USA uh, combinedly, that is known as prairies of North America. In the Eurasia, that is known as steppes, right? In the Southern America, in Argentina, it is done. So pampas of Argentina. South Africa, at the bottom of the Africa, South Africa, it is known as Wales. And Southern Australia, it is known as Downs of Australia. So these are the names of that region where the extensive commercial grain farming is practiced. In the different parts of the world, in the different continents of the world, it is named differently, right? So hundred of hectares land is used to practice the commercial grain farming to produce the wheat, right? So if for today this is sufficient, the next farming method we will discuss in our next lecture. Now if you have any doubt regarding the previous one, you can ask now. If you have any doubt, then you can ask. Just raise your hands. promote